What's up, guys? Long time no see. So I booked my first track day for the bike. Really upsetting that I'm actually doing my first track day with a bike and not the M3. I've only been on a track once before, and it was for a drift event in my S14 where I sucked. But yeah, I never really thought this was gonna happen. But I was kind of looking into them, and I want to learn. Although this is, leader bike insanely fast in a straight line, I probably still haven't even full throttled it really like crazy. But I really want to learn how to use the bike, like fully leaning it and stuff like that. And there's canyons around here, but they don't have guardrails, and I'm not trying to learn how to lean a bike around there. So I figured going to a racetrack is probably the safest bet, especially with instructors that can point out what I'm doing wrong and stuff like that. So there's actually a local, it's not really local, it's actually an hour and a half away. The local racetrack is like 40 minutes away, and that's probably where I'm gonna be doing stuff with the M3. And it's like $180 for a track day, but if it's your first time, it's like discounted for $100. So it's $100 to go to your first track day, which includes the full leather rentals. The only thing I need is I need gauntlet gloves, which are like the wrist over gloves. They're like this. Basically, they have to be another like few inches to cover the wrist with some armor. And then I need actual boots that kind of cover the ankle with armor as well. But other than that, I've been working on the bike. As you can see, some differences from the last video. The swing arm extension, that's an 8-inch extension, is completely gone. That stock extension has the stock chain. I got a new rear tire, Pirelli Rosso 2. The front is a Michelin 2CT Power. Both tires that have medium compound in the middle and semi-slick soft compound on the sides. For cornering, I got a muffler because this racetrack actually has noise regulations as well. And as you guys knew, I was just running the straight pipe tip, which sounded wonderful. Let everyone around me know that I'm around them. But I picked this up for just $100 to slip on. Apparently this muffler alone in this condition goes for like $200-300. It's not that loud. I can actually just show you how it sounds, honestly. It's probably easier. So that's idle right there, 1,000 RPM. It's very quiet compared to the straight bike, in my opinion, at least while riding too. But that's that. And then actually I realized that the rear coil link, this metal bar right here that connects the dog bone of the coilover to the actual swing arm, was longer than stock, and longer means you're lowering it. So this thing was actually lowered in the rear, so I actually took off that thing. I found the OEM measurement from the forums, and I re-drilled it, recut it, and reinstalled it, and now the rear is actually as high as it's supposed to be. With a bike, lowering it doesn't exactly improve handling like it would in a car, which I didn't know, but that's how that is. So it's stock height. I actually rode around with Rachel on the back yesterday, because before I couldn't. We tried, and the bottom was scraping on the ground, but that's because it was lowered. So now, as you can see, the fairings are taken off. I took them off in one piece instead of disconnecting the nose piece. But basically, I'm going to give it an oil change, because I don't know when that was done, and I'm going to change the coolant for distilled water, because racetracks require non-glycol based coolants, and distilled water is usually the cheapest, easiest way. In Arizona here, it never freezes. It's like 70 degrees at night, and it's been hitting 100 degrees during the day, which is horrible. Like literally when I get home from work, my shirt is absolutely fully wet and drenched, and I obviously wear a black helmet, black jacket, black gloves. But the bike does get hot. It gets like 230 Fahrenheit, but besides that, I'm also changing the kickstand, because believe it or not, I didn't know this, but bikes that are lowered, they wouldn't be able to use the OEM kickstand because they would actually fall over to the right because they're lower. So they actually cut the OEM kickstand, and as you can see how much of a crazy angle this bike is leaning at, it's normally not supposed to lean that much. So I actually just ordered an OEM kickstand that's like right there for $25. A lot of this bike has been just OEM eBay parts, which have been fairly cheap in my opinion, especially being a 2003 bike. Also, as you guys can see, I sold the Mercedes. I think I sold it for $1,300, and I got it for $900, which is mint. And I sold the wheels that were here, which are the wheels that everyone hated that were on the M3, just because I've been trying to sell them. Have the wing for sale as well. Maybe somebody will buy it. Don't worry, I'm just planning on getting a more aggressive wing. This is an APR GT250 wing. I'm going to be getting a GT1000 wing, which is even more aggressive. But you know, just getting rid of little stuff that I'm not going to need anyway. But anyways, I'm going to get started on the bike because it's already getting dark and I have to ride this thing to work tomorrow. So I got the bike all back together, so I did an oil change, flushed out the coolant for water, tightened the exhaust clamp because I didn't get to tighten this all the way, put the OEM foot peg on, as dramatic of a lean, kind of, I don't know if you can notice it. I put an LED high beam bulb, so you'll see how like the bottom half is white, and I realized my high beams didn't work because the fuse was popped, so I replaced that and now we have high beams. So it's pretty awesome. I'm getting this thing back to OEM, sort of. A lot of people ask what kind of mods I'll be doing this, but I don't really know how many mods there are to do with it because I just want this as a functional bike. Okay, oh, one more question for any of you bike gurus. I just had a question about the brake. I think we're gonna get new brake pads, but you see the brake lever, right? Moves, etc., etc. That clicking is the sensor for the brake light. So this first half doesn't do anything, basically, just a little bit, but nothing too much. But then this last 30% is what really does the major braking. Wondering if it's supposed to be like that, or I haven't tried to bleed the brakes. Maybe the pads are just worn. I don't know. Pads are pretty cheap for this thing, so I might just grab a set because I want it to be a lot more budgy and responsive. I'm getting more used to it. And also I fixed the throttle sticking issue. This thing literally used to be so hard to turn, like I had to grip onto it to turn it and it would stick. But I lubed up the cables and everything, and now one of the things to pass track tech is you can't have a sticking throttle, so it's perfect now. But anyways, besides that, I'm gonna head to bed. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you maybe like the bike stuff. I think I'll throw a GoPro on quite soon for some fun stuff with the bike. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.